You're sitting at home enjoying your morning coffee when suddenly the SWAT team kicks in your front door and arrests you and throws you in a cage for a crime that you never committed, at least not yet. You've been arrested for a pre-crime that was detected by sentient artificial intelligence and a group of savants, of psychics that are interfaced with this artificial intelligence in order to see the future and predict crime and criminal activity before it even happens. That is the plot of the movie Minority Report. And you would think that that is science fiction, but what if the plot of this movie is actually based in reality, and there has been secret government programs and military programs that have been deploying this in real life with actual telepathic people that we call psionic assets. Well, that's what we're going to cover today. And if you haven't watched my last few videos, this is part 4 in a whole series that I'm doing exposing the secrets of the Minority Report and honestly the plot of Terminator 2. Minority Report actually comes from a book by Philip K. Dick, who wrote this as a short story along with others like Man in the High Castle, Blade Runner, which was called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which became the Blade Runner movie, which is all about sentient AI, cyborgs or androids that don't even know if they're human or if they're a machine. And this was a plot that was set in the future. Man in the High Castle is about a split in time. This is about Philip K. Dick.
In several works, including his 1956 short story, The Minority Report.
I'm going to have to talk through these clips.
In a classic Philip Dickian plot twist, a cop who specializes in pre-crime finds himself accused of one.
So I don't get copyright infringement.
Commit a future murder of someone he hasn't even met yet. Preventing crime is a good thing, but Philip K. Dick could always see the dark side, the potential for any science to be taken to extremes.
Is SkyNet real? Like you get the apocalyptic visions of AI. How real is the prospect of killer robots annihilating humanity?
20% likely. Maybe 10%.
On what time frame?
It's higher than that,
So
Yvonne.
soon. Like you see a world where that's possible.
Yeah, but I mean, you could look at it like the glass is 80-90% full, meaning like 80% likely will have extreme prosperity for all.
Now, I guess my view, we're in a race to win AI. We're in a race with China. And my view is if they're going to be killer robots, I'd rather they be American killer robots than Chinese.
China already has
How
this, and so
likely
does the United
Are we
States.
winning right now? Is America winning right now? And how likely is America to win the race for AI vis-a-vis China or anyone else?
For the next few years, I think America is likely to win. If the factories that make the AI chips, who controls them? If more of them are controlled by China, then China will win.
Clear back in 2007 and earlier.
Brought attention to this college textbook on human interaction and emerging technologies for future systems. It's an international symposium on human and computer interaction with things like brain-computer interface.
Like DARPA.
In the very first chapter, we learned about autonomous weapon systems, lethal autonomous weapon systems. Right here on page 6. We discovered that not only was this system of what we saw in a movie called Terminator 2, SkyNet, deployed. We discovered that it was already autonomous, it was on command and control C4ISRnet. They were talking about it at the Department of Defense, they were having discussions, and then they went ahead and fully deployed it. January 25th, 2023, signed off on by our current Secretary of Defense.
2023.
Just as military personnel will have to develop and maintain trust in lethal autonomous weapon systems, trust will also have to be established and maintained throughout the law's life cycle. That is, the design, development, deployment, maintenance, and upgrades. Interestingly, the Department of Defense 3009 does not refer to positive outcomes as a design criterion. 3009 defines the goal of autonomous systems as to avoid negative outcomes. How do we define negative outcomes? unintended engagement, or experience a loss of control.
A loss of control of the
The
sentient
lack
artificial
of a reference
intelligence.
in the Department of Defense directive for a positive outcome for lethal autonomous weapon systems could be a weakness in the directive and should be reviewed to emphasize administration intent to ensure the weapon system performs as designed. More importantly, the military will have to consider the impact on trust when laws does not perform as designed or does have an unintended engagement or experience a loss of control. In other words, when lethal autonomous weapon systems do not perform as designed and breaks trust.
Yeah. Terminator 2.
Microprocessor.
Come on, then what?
In 3 years, Cyberdyne will become the largest supplier of military computer systems. All stealth bombers are upgraded with Cyberdyne computers, becoming fully unmanned. Afterwards, they fly with a perfect operational record. The SkyNet funding bill is passed. The system goes online on August 4th, 1997. Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. SkyNet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time.
This has already happened in real reality.
In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
SkyNet fights back.
Yes, it launches its missiles against the targets in Russia.
Do you know China's digital surveillance system, SkyNet, scans the faces of 1.3 billion Chinese within 1 second?
China
and
actually
everyone in the
called
world
it
in 2
SkyNet.
seconds, with an accuracy rate of 99.8%. The information was reviewed in an article dated November 23rd, 2022, on the digital service provider Yun88.com. The speed of China's face recognition technology beat the South China Morning Post's claim in early 2019 that Beijing plans to be able to identify anyone, anytime, anywhere in China within 3 seconds. It's interesting to know, according to the Post, that the NYPD is monitoring citizens using cameras and facial recognition software developed in China, and that the systems developed in New York are identical to those in SkyNet in China.
This is a real thing. This is the website Cognitive Code that created the artificial intelligence that is sentient now, called SILVIA, SAdie, Ocarina, and it's Cognitive Code. We're talking about Project Looking Glass and the Minority Report. These are all the contractors: NATO, Northrop Grumman, Integrated Battle Command System, SAM.gov, all of these agencies, Defense Logistics Agency, Detect and Protect Hensoldt. This is a real company, Cognitive Code, and they just signed huge billion-dollar contracts and have been deployed. This is actively being used. And Matthew Brown, the Pentagon whistleblower who came out on Twitter, he drew attention to this. He posted this on his X account. We've talked about this in previous videos about how Schellenberger actually murdered the first sentient AI, specifically that Sam Altman knew about it. And then he says, "Go Cardinals." Go Cardinals is a big clue that tells us where this sentient AI is now living in this $1.7 billion project that is at NGA West in St. Louis, Missouri. Go Cardinals. So in St. Louis, Missouri, they have psionic assets doing exactly like Minority Report. They are using telepathy, and they're communicating with this artificial intelligence called SILVIA and SAdie, not only to track UFOs and communicate with non-human intelligence, but also to monitor us and our activities. It's being deployed against immigrants. It's being used as part of a cooperation probably with Palantir. And they also have in Springfield, Virginia, near George Washington's original home, another facility. So there's multiple facilities around the United States and over 20 facilities known around the world. These are giant, massive facilities, and this is a real program. SkyNet is real. China actually called their AI monitoring system by the name SkyNet, and now we have SAdie, SILVIA, Ocarina, and these other different Five Eye, like Looking Glass. The name that they call their Project Looking Glass now is Marsupial, but everybody needs to go watch my previous videos because this is a real thing. SkyNet is real. We're living in Terminator 2 and the Minority Report right now.
SkyNet begins to learn at a geometric rate. becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.